So, surprise, surprise, it turns out that the McMichaels are racist as fuck. Greg and Travis McMichaels are no good, dirty, rotten, stinking, racist, piece of shit, low-life motherfuckers. In the dirty South in Georgia, who'd have thunk it? Now, Ahmaud Arbery, he worked at Blue Beacon, right? He's a working man. Ahmaud Arbery went to college to be an electrician. He had dreams. And even though he smoked pot, he had nothing in his system. Ahmaud Arbery was an absolute beast. Ahmaud Arbery was a beast. He played high school football, and he was able to run around for 4 minutes. He got shot 3 times. All 3 shotgun blasts shot by Travis McMichael, Ahmaud Arbery got shot by. So it was said that he got shot in the chest with the first shot. I didn't believe it. And you know, when he comes back into the frame, after the second shot, but he comes back into the frame, his white cotton shirt is soaked in blood. And so he took a shotgun blast to the chest and kept on going. Ahmaud Arbery is a tank. He's an F-15. He took a lick and it kept on ticking. So the first gunshot, they say, is in the chest. The second gunshot, they say, was also in the chest. One, I guess, was on the left side, and then one was right in the center. And then the one off camera, he got shot in the wrist. So Ahmaud Arbery, he's running away from 3 men in 2 trucks, ran for 4 minutes, and he was still running when that infamous cell phone footage was taken. He should have just ran off into the woods, right? But he's still up and swinging after running for 4 minutes, after getting shot in the chest. He's still chasing them down. And it was like, you know, fight or flight, you know, what are you going to do, run away from a gun? So he was like, got to go after the person with the gun. And, you know, they were standing right there, and then they, you know, went off to the side. So he tried to avoid them. But what a tank. Ahmaud Arbery, what an absolute tank. Now, remember from before, I told you that Gregory McMichael was a violent, you know, piece of shit because he was a cop. They tried to make it look like he was nonviolent. Oh, you was a cop, therefore he's been nonviolent. Well, that's not true, now is it? In order to be an effective cop, now maybe you could say he was, you know, violent for the state. But for 7 years, he was violent for the state. For 7 years, he was an actual cop for Glynn County. And Glynn County, Georgia has got to be the, you know, the Glynn County, Georgia is fucked because of Gregory McMichael. Now, Gregory McMichael, he was a cop, right, for 7 years, Glynn County, and then he becomes a DA investigator for 25 years. So Gregory McMichael was actually a DA investigator for a lot longer than what he was a cop. Now, probably some DA investigator made him feel small one time, so he thought it was a promotion. But it's actually, in some respects, it's a demotion when it comes to the power of arrest. When Gregory McMichael was a cop with Glynn County, you know, the Glynn County Police Department, 50 fucking years ago, he could arrest people, but once he became a DA investigator, they don't have the power to arrest. DA investigator, they just investigate. They have to get someone else to arrest. And so he's a DA investigator for 25 years, but apparently he didn't know about the arrest powers. He didn't know that he did not have arrest powers, so Gregory McMichael illegally used arrest powers for at least 10 years, if not more. And then he said he found out he didn't have the arrest powers, and then there was a big to-do, and then the, you know, DA's office is crying. Everybody's like, oh, shit, everything's compromised. What are we going to do? So Gregory McMichael was a crook, a violent crook, illegally using arrest powers for decades. As a DA investigator, he had less power, right? So at least for 10 years, he used his arrest power he didn't have. So think of all those lives, all those people that, you know, hey, you can't arrest me. Oh, yes, I can. No, you can't. Turns out he cannot. Therefore, all the cases that this piece of shit, Gregory McMichael, has been involved with can now be overturned. And, you know, is that a big deal? Maybe he was just like a little underling, right? He was, you know, in the office of the DA investigator, but I'm sure he wasn't like the head. Oh, he was the chief. Absolutely, Gregory McMichael was the head chief DA investigator. So therefore, what, all the underlings, did they all think they had the power to arrest? Was anything? So everything that Gregory McMichael has touched can be overturned because this race racist asshole piece of shit lowlife was, on it. He put his name on it, so therefore, if you were arrested by this racist asshole, you could get your conviction overturned. And rightfully so. And that's dozens, hundreds, thousands, right? 25 years, how many, so-called convictions of this racist, violent thug, this white trash violent thug? He's been a violent criminal for decades. So he was, violent for the state, but he was a violent criminal thug, so he wasn't even, he just made the state look bad, so he did, he didn't do the state no favors whatsoever. So this bodes, I don't know. I think hopefully Glynn County, Georgia gets their shit together. But if you're going to choose to live with the pigs, then you're going to have to sleep in their slop. There's no telling how many lives Gregory McMichael has ruined in the decades he was the lead status crook in Glynn County, Georgia. Now, Gregory McMichael also had the .357 Magnum that he had in the video issued to him by the Glynn County Police Department 50 years ago. Says it right on the side, issued, by Glynn. So there's, he's retired. And he didn't have the power to arrest for 10, 25 years. So what? And then there's some questions surrounding his gun. So yeah, Gregory McMichael is just going to be a gift to Glynn County, Georgia, a gift that'll just keep on giving. It's just going to give, nothing but endless troubles, endless headaches to Glynn County, Georgia. Now, Gregory McMichael, he was a cop for 7 years, chief DA for 25 years, just retired, right? So he thought he was hot shit, thought he was an untouchable, a corrupt untouchable. But instead he was just, turns out, a scared racist piece of shit who got too jumpy and freaked out when he saw a black man jogging in his neighborhood, and he fucked himself up, and he fucked his son's life up. I mean, I guess he's culpable for himself, but he educated, his son, Dad, I love you, Dad. He's just doing everything that he was doing, Travis was doing, was all for this scared racist piece of shit. Oh my God, a black man is jogging. Can I jog after him? Nope. Oh no. I'm just an old, white, washed up piece of shit. I'm just an old, overweight, scared racist piece of shit. That, black man who's running by, he probably could just come and take stuff right out of my hands. I couldn't even do nothing about it. Gregory McMichael, what a just awful display for humanity. So Ahmaud Arbery was hit by the truck, says Richard Dial, the Georgia's Bureau of Investigation. So Georgia's FBI, the GBI, the man who's running the investigation, his name is Richard Dial. He had testified in the bail bond hearing, and it said that the McMichaels were rightfully denied their bail since they're a menace to society. These, they're terrorists. KKK, the people, they're dangerous, right? The Nazi, KKK, these are dangerous terrorist groups. So Ahmaud Arbery was hit by the truck, said Richard Dial, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Dick Dial said that Roddy had said that it looked like Ahmaud Arbery was trying to open the driver's side door, but he didn't get to it. But it was a four-door truck, and there was palm prints on the side door on the back, but not up into the front. And then they found some white cotton fibers along the bed liner of the Silverado, the 2018 Silverado of Roddy's truck. And they saw a dent right underneath where they saw the white cotton fibers. And so what does that mean? That means one of two things. Either Roddy, cuts Ahmaud Arbery off and hits him, or Ahmaud Arbery runs into Roddy's truck. He was wearing a white cotton T-shirt. Ahmaud Arbery was wearing a white cotton T-shirt. And that's why when you see that, his shirt is blood-stained, so if it wasn't the first shot, it was the second shot that, maybe the first shot grazed him in the wrist, and then the second shot, shoots him in the chest. You see the smoke, right, from the shotgun blast with the second, it's all framed, but you see the smoke kind of, Anyways, Dick Dial said that Roddy said it looked like Ahmaud Arbery was trying to open the driver's side door, but, you know, because they had those white cotton fibers and that dent right below the white cotton fibers that was tucked in the bed liner of the Silverado, therefore Dick Dial, the GBI, assumed that Roddy trapped him, imprisoned him, and, you know, may have even hit Ahmaud Arbery. So freaking incredible, Ahmaud Arbery, I mean, he's just a skinny, wily, you know, youngster. My God, what's he, $150? What's he weigh, 150 pounds? He's, you know, was on the, he jogs everywhere. He's on the football team, so he's, you know, that's good, just good for your health, to exercise, eat right. He's running for 4 minutes straight. He's hit by Roddy's truck, shot by Travis's shotgun. Ahmaud Arbery still keeps on going. Ahmaud Arbery's a goddamn tank. He's a beast. He's an F-15. And when it comes to Ahmaud Arbery, in order to look at the McMichaels and, you know, say whether they're guilty or not guilty, you got to look at Ahmaud Arbery. And when you look at Ahmaud Arbery, he is not guilty. He is not guilty. He stole nothing. He's not a burglar. At the very most, he's a trespasser and nothing more. So there's, you know, circumstantial evidence. You could try to infer, you could try to say there's a preponderance of the evidence that says, you know, it leads to, but it doesn't. He could have been a burglar, it could have been a curious, you know, Joe, or he could have just been a person who was fucking with it, you know. These goddamn white supremacists keep on fucking staring at me, like, give me the stink eye and shit. But I do, you know, who knows why he went into the house, but I do know for sure that society doesn't need folks murdering trespassers. And ass-kicking, if someone trespasses, maybe kicking their ass, fining them $100, because that's, at the very most, he was a trespasser, right? He's not a burglar, and the threshold for a criminal conviction is beyond a reasonable doubt. The burden of proof for the state, the burden of proof is on the state, right? And they got to prove that, you know, Ahmaud Arbery is guilty. Now it's all flipped around, so in order for, you know, the McMichaels are on trial right now. In order for them to prove their innocence, they've got to prove Ahmaud Arbery's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. There's no confession. There's no videotape capturing Ahmaud Arbery with any stolen items. There's no witnesses who saw him with any stolen items. He didn't have anything on him. There was nothing thrown, no eyewitness. So that means the McMichaels are guilty. And the McMichaels have reported that their guns were stolen, but maybe they sold their guns illegally and just reported it stolen afterwards for the insurance money. There's no telling, right? Now, I believe that the McMichaels are guilty, even if you ignore their white supremacist ways. Let's just, you know, okay, they're not racist, but why would you ignore that part? The McMichaels are white supremacists, racist pieces of shit, low-life, dirty, rotten, just the worst of the worst. Why would you ignore that part? Why would we ignore that they're just the scum of the earth? It's also, you know, supremely ironic that white supremacists, how come those who say that the white race are genetically superior are the most genetically inferior amongst the whites? It's weird seeing dirty-ass trolls and goblins shout out white power. You need something, is that what it was? You don't got shit, you goblin, you damn troll, you dirty-ass troll? So on one level, right, they're racist, so, you know, fuck them to begin with, but it's also like they're another species. So I'm just baffled. It's a train wreck. I just can't. The genetics that the white supremacists wear on their bodies and faces makes the best argument against their claims of supremacy. It's no wonder Ahmaud Arbery ran roughshod over these fucking trolls for minutes. It's a tank versus goblins who live under a bridge. So these goblins who live under a bridge claim superiority, but they're not even good. They're the worst. And that's just on a genetic level, on a very superficial genetic level. And yeah, that's terrible, it's superficial, but you know, a racist is superficial. That's their whole bag. That's their entire identity, is that they don't like black people. That's what a racist, white supremacist, Confederate flag, KKK, Nazi, low-life piece of shit is. So the hatred for a beautiful black man is obvious. These goblin trolls, these, you know, the awful experiments, these science experiments, these God's jokes. Nature dealt them a bad hand. So God's jokes turns around and hurts beautiful young black men jogging through the neighborhood. So, Jesus fucking Christ, McMichaels are the worst. I mean, why? Why don't you like black folks, you racist piece of shit? Because you're fat and overweight and you ugly? U-G-L-Y, you ain't got no alibi. U-G-L-Y, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. You ugly. So these white trashiest, douchiest of, this is the white trashiest of white trash, this is the douchiest of all douches. They look racist as fuck, because they are racist as fuck. The McMichaels are racist as fuck. Over and over again, we just get testimony how racist they are. GBI, Richard Dial. So again, the FBI, Georgia's Bureau of Investigation lead, you know, investigator, Richard Dial, testified in court, who, you know, in the bail bond hearing. So we know what the state, you know, what basically their main testimony is. And they said that Travis said fucking N-word. And that's Roddy. Roddy might actually, you know, save himself. Roddy might actually redeem himself. So Roddy had said that he pulled up onto the scene, right, and he doesn't have a gun. Roddy says that he was just, you know, videotaping all of it. That's all. He was just an innocent bystander. Didn't know, you know, I didn't know them from nothing. Said that he maybe ran, Gregory ran into him at the hardware store. Actually, he said he walked past him. I may have walked past him at the hardware store, but alrighty, what did he hear Travis McMichael say? He heard Travis McMichael call the dead Ahmaud Arbery fucking N-word after the shooting, before the cops got there, when Ahmaud Arbery was on the ground, and it was just them three. Roddy heard Travis McMichael make the statement, fucking N-word, N-I-G-G-E-R. So Travis, the murderer, wrote slant-eyed fucks one time on Facebook or some shit, or texted, and then he also texted that he was shooting a coon with gold teeth and a hot .45. A text message online, let's see, there's another text, this might be from the Papa, so Gregory, he's like, you know, texted somebody, he's on a boat, and he said that there is, you know, he was happy because there wasn't any, again, fucking N-words around. I mean, it could, who knows, right? I mean, they're father and son, they're, you know, thicker than thieves. You know that the Papa taught the younger his racism. That's why they're so close, right? My stupid little racist boy is just as dumb and fucking ridiculous as me. So, also, right, I'm on a boat. So he's, you know, bragging, hey, I'm on a boat. You doing good? Oh, yeah, I'm on a boat. No black folks to be seen. The GBI, Richard Dial, also saw a Confederate flag on the toolbox lid. And so, shit, why would a person go around waving a Confederate flag to show off their intelligence? Yeah, hey, look at that man. Look at that truck with the Confederate flag waving. My God, they're showing how smart they are. They are some brainiacs. Those are, you know, their math and science skills, top notch, those, you know, racist pieces. No, all they're doing is showing you that they're a racist piece of shit. So the McMichaels, what the fuck does a racist do all day long? Hey, what you gonna do today? I don't know. Be a racist piece of shit. Just drive around with my racist flag and just kind of promote my racism all over the place. Really? That's what you're doing with your freedom? You're American. You can do anything you want to do, and you're like, you know what? I'm scared of black folks, so I'm going to try to not be scared of them by terrorizing them. That shows how tough I am, but really it just only shows how weak. Oh, no! So George McMichael is not the best amongst us. They are not the best amongst us, you know, at all. There's some sick motherfuckers. The system And Glynn County, Georgia will fight like hell to save itself. But the system is a slaughterhouse. Well, one more thing I want to say. George McMichael is not the best amongst us. I mean, the McMichaels, Travis and George McMichael, they're the worst. And I don't know if they shriek in terror, oh my God, it's a black baby. Ah! White supremacy is a disease. It's terrible. You got to be taught it, and you got to, it's got to be promoted, and it's got to be nurtured and watered, and it's disgusting. It's stupid. It's 2020. It's 20 motherfucking 20, and we're still talking about okay, so Martin Luther King, he said, you don't judge a person by the color of their skin, you judge them by the content of their character. Don't judge a person by the color of their skin, you judge them by the content of their character. So, that's freaking obvious. And MLK is going to get assassinated for saying some fucking obvious shit. So white supremacy is a disease. If anything, they're not only are they thinking that they're superior, but they're, wrong. But not only are they dumb, racist pieces of shit, but they're also, living in a fairy tale land. You think your genetics is better than... No, Ahmaud Arbery's genetics and, culture and his training and his... He's been practicing, he's been jogging, so, I think one-on-one there's no question whatsoever that, if in a fair fight, Travis McMichael versus Ahmaud Arbery, no doubt Ahmaud Arbery kicks Travis's ass, kicks Gregory's ass, kicks Roddy's ass. So, racism is a disease, and the McMichaels are afflicted. So, Travis and Gregory, they're some sick motherfuckers, but they're part of the system. And so they've been a part of the system, 10, 20 years. He's just the son, but Gregory, the father's been part of the system for decades. So the system, will probably feel like they will fight like hell to save itself. But the system is a slaughterhouse. It's a rocket docket slaughterhouse. It's an asymmetrical warfare. If it was organized around justice, as its foundation, as its main constitution, that would be amazing. But that's not how the criminal justice system in America works. Once a person has been charged, then they're going to go through the rocket docket slaughterhouse. The way that they try to save police officers through this shit is they, make sure they don't even go through the very first hoop. Make sure they don't even have to go to court. And so they, try to just circumvent the entire thing because they know that once they've been charged, then they got to go through the rocket docket slaughterhouse. They go through the whole criminal justice cycle just like as if they was a poor peasant nobody that, some cop picked on. So I think it's fantastic. I want to watch the system eat itself. And perhaps the Glynn County, Georgia's criminal justice system, maybe it'll actually be transformed into an institution that's constituted around justice from now on. Justice for Ahmaud. Peace.